The ground shook under Ju's feet. She knelt among broken houses and fallen trees that were once her village. Thick, gray smoke rose from collapsed buildings. The air tasted like ash and metal. Ju could barely breathe without coughing. 3 days ago, the war machine had appeared. It came from beyond the clouds, a giant made of shining metal. It stood taller than the oldest trees in the forest. Its body gleamed in the sunlight, made of something harder than any material Ju had ever seen. Blue light pulsed from its center, like a heartbeat that never stopped. The people of the valley had no weapons that could fight such a thing. They had no shields that could stop it. They had only the stories passed down from their grandparents about a time when humans traveled among the stars. But those were just bedtime tales to most villagers. Stories told around fires on cold nights. Here in this hidden valley, Ju's people lived simple lives. They grew food in small gardens. They raised animals. They worked hard to keep what little remained of Earth's plants and animals alive. The world outside their valley was mostly dead and empty, they said. It had been that way for many generations. Hyun would know what to do, Ju whispered to herself, thinking of her older brother. Hyun had left the village 5 years ago. He wanted to learn about the old world. He went beyond the mountains to search through the ruins of ancient cities. He promised to come back with knowledge that would help their people. But he never returned. The escape from the village had been rushed and frightening. People ran in all directions at first. Many cried out for missing family members. Children screamed in fear. Eventually, most villagers followed Elder Tae toward the mountain caves, a place they hoped would be safe. Ju had stayed behind. Someone needed to help the old ones who couldn't run fast. Someone needed to find the lost children. Now she was the only person left in what remained of her home. From a distance, Ju had watched the war machine. It moved in a pattern that seemed planned. It would stop, send out beams of light that swept across an area, then wait. If it didn't find what it wanted, it would destroy everything around it. Not with anger, but with cold purpose. Like it was, searching for something important. Ju gathered her few belongings. She had a water container made from hard plant material. She had a small knife with a wooden handle that her father had given her. She had her grandmother's book of songs, its pages worn soft from years of use. And she had the strange device Hyun had left with her before he went away. "Keep this safe," he had told her. "It might be important someday." The device was flat and small enough to fit in her hand. It had not worked in years. Ju had pressed its buttons many times, but nothing ever happened. Still, she kept it to remember her brother. It was the last thing he had given her. As Ju prepared to leave what remained of her village, she heard a sound. It was small and weak, but in the heavy silence it caught her attention. She turned her head, listening carefully. There it was again. A soft chirping noise. Ju followed the sound to a fallen roof beam. Under it, trapped but somehow still alive, was a small bird. Its wing bent at a wrong angle. The bird's eyes were bright with fear as it looked up at Ju. Despite everything happening around her, despite the danger getting closer with each passing moment, Ju couldn't leave the bird to die alone. She bent down and very carefully moved, aside some smaller pieces of wood. With gentle hands, she picked up the injured bird. "You are hurt, little one," she said softly. "But you are still fighting to live. I will help you." The bird chirped again, weaker this time. Its tiny heart beat fast against Ju's fingers. Ju tore a strip of cloth from her sleeve. She made a small pouch and placed the bird inside. Then she tied the pouch to the front of her tunic where the bird would be warm and safe. "I will keep you safe," she promised, checking that the bird could still breathe easily. "We will find somewhere to hide together." But as Ju stood up and looked around at the best path to escape, the ground under her feet began to shake more strongly than before. The remaining walls of nearby houses fell down completely. Trees at the edge of the village swayed back and forth. The war machine had changed direction. Ju climbed onto a pile of fallen stones to see better. In the distance, she could see the giant metal shape moving. Yesterday it had been heading toward the western hills. Now it was turning. It was coming straight toward the village, straight toward her. Ju's heart beat faster. She needed to run, to hide. But which way should she go? The caves were too far. The forest might provide some cover, but the war machine crushed trees like they were nothing. The bird in the pouch chirped again as if sensing her fear. "We need to move," Ju said, climbing down from her lookout place. "We need to find somewhere safe." She began to run toward the eastern edge of the village where a small stream cut through the land. Perhaps if she followed the water, she might find a place to hide. The stream led to a series of rocky hills that had many small caves and hiding places. Behind her, the sounds of the war machine grew louder. Metal parts moved against each other with deep grinding noises. The ground shook harder with each step it took. Ju ran faster, her lungs burning with effort. The bird bounced gently in its pouch against her chest. The device from Hyun knocked against her leg in her pocket. As she reached the stream, Ju stopped to catch her breath and look back. What she saw made her blood turn cold. The war machine was now at the edge of the ruined village. It towered over everything, blotting out the sun. Its metal body reflected light in a way that hurt Ju's eyes. The blue glow at its center pulsed, faster now. Most frightening of all, it had stopped its wide search pattern. Now it moved with clear purpose. It was following her path exactly. Somehow it knew she was there. Somehow it had found her. Ju felt her legs grow weak with fear. The bird chirped in its pouch, a small reminder that she wasn't completely alone. She reached down and felt the hard shape of Hyun's device in her pocket. "Run or hide," she whispered, to herself. The war machine took another step toward her. The ground shook so hard that Ju almost fell. She made her choice. She would run. She would follow the stream to the rocky hills and find a place the war machine couldn't reach. With one last look at the metal giant that hunted her, Ju turned and ran along the stream bank. The cold water splashed her legs as she moved as fast as she could. Behind her, the war machine followed. Ju ran through the forest as fast as her legs could carry her. Her chest hurt from breathing so hard. The small wounded bird in the cloth pouch made soft chirping sounds with each step she took. Behind her, the war machine pushed through the trees. It broke thick trunks like they were small sticks. It crushed large rocks under its heavy metal feet. "Why is it following me?" Ju asked out loud, though there was no one to answer. For 2 hours, Ju tried to escape from the metal giant. She took paths that turned and twisted. She crawled through thick bushes where the branches scratched her skin. She climbed up steep hills, her hands grabbing onto roots and rocks to pull herself up. Her legs shook from the effort. Her throat felt dry. Each time Ju thought she had escaped, each time she stopped to rest for just a moment, the ground would start to shake again. The war machine would appear, changing its path to match hers. It was like it could see her through the trees, through the rocks, through anything that stood in its way. Ju stopped behind a huge fallen tree. She pressed her back against the rough bark and tried to catch her breath. Sweat ran down her face. Her heart beat so hard she could feel it in her throat. The wounded bird looked up at her from its cloth pouch. Its small, dark eyes seemed to share her fear. "I am sorry, little one," Ju whispered, touching the bird's head gently with one finger. "I am trying to save us." Suddenly, something moved in her pocket. Ju felt a strange vibration against her leg. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the device her brother Hun had given her years ago. Ju stared at the device in surprise. For the first time since Hyun had left, the device showed signs of life. A soft blue light flickered on its small screen. "That cannot be possible," Ju said, turning the device over in her hands. The device vibrated again, stronger this time. The blue light grew brighter. Strange marks appeared on the screen, marks Ju did not understand. They looked nothing like the writing her people used. The strange marks appeared at the same time as the heavy footsteps of the war machine grew louder. Suddenly, Ju understood something that made her blood run cold. The war machine was not tracking her. It was tracking the device, or something inside the device. Not far away, Ju heard a loud crash as a tree fell to the ground. The war machine was getting closer. Ju guessed she had only minutes before it reached her. She had a choice to make. She could throw the device away and run in another direction. The war machine might follow the device instead of her, But what if the device held something important? What if her brother had given it to her to keep safe for a reason? Ju made her decision. She held the device tightly in her hand and checked on the bird once more. "We need to change our plan," she told the small creature. "We are going to stop running. We are going to face this thing." Ju took a deep breath. She stepped out from behind the fallen tree and walked into a small open space in the forest. She raised the device above her head. The blue light on its screen pulsed like a heartbeat. "I am here," she shouted, her voice echoing through the trees. "Whatever you are looking for, it is right here." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the sound of the war machine's footsteps slowed. Through the trees, Ju could see its huge metal form stop moving. In the silence that followed, she could hear the soft whirring sounds of the machine's parts moving inside its body. Then it began to move again. But something had changed. It no longer crashed through everything in its path. Instead, it carefully moved between the trees. It stepped over fallen logs instead of crushing them. It was being careful. And it was coming straight toward Ju. Ju wanted to run. Every part of her body told her to flee, to hide, to get away from the metal giant that had destroyed her village, but she forced herself to stand still. The bird chirped again from its pouch, a small sound that somehow gave Ju courage. "I hope I am right about this," she whispered. The war machine came closer. Now Ju could see details she had not noticed before. The machine was covered in marks and dents. Some parts of it looked newer, while other parts looked very old and damaged. It had fought in battles long ago. Most interesting of all, the blue light at the center of the war machine matched the blue light on the screen of Hyun's device. They pulsed with the same rhythm, like two hearts beating together. As the war machine reached the edge of the small open space, Ju forced herself to speak again. "My name is Ju," she said, trying to keep her voice strong. "I live in the village you destroyed. This device belonged to my brother Hyun. He left it with me." The war machine stopped again. It made no threatening moves. Instead, it seemed to be studying her. Small round parts on its body that looked like eyes moved up and down, examining Ju from her head to her feet. "Can you understand me?" Ju asked. The war machine made no response, but it did not attack. It just stood there, its many eyes focused on the device in Ju's hand. Ju took a careful step forward. Still, the machine did not move. She took another step and another until she stood much closer to the metal giant. From this distance, she could see how truly massive it was. It stood 3 times taller than the tallest tree in the forest. Its arms could reach even higher. "What do you want?" Ju asked. "Why did you destroy our village? Why are you following me?" The machine made a series of sounds. They were not like any language Ju had ever heard. They were high and low tones, some long and some short, like a song without words. To Ju's surprise, the device in her hand made sounds in response, the same kind of tones answering the war machine's call. They were talking to each other. "You want this device?" Ju asked, holding it up higher. "Is that why you came to our valley?" The war machine leaned forward slightly. A part of its front opened up, revealing a flat surface that looked similar to the screen on Ju's device but much larger. Images began to appear on this screen. Ju saw pictures of the stars. She saw planets she did not recognize. She saw machines, like the one standing before her, but also others that looked different. Then she saw images of war, cities burning, machines fighting each other, bright flashes of light that destroyed everything they touched. "You are showing me a war," Ju said, understanding. "Is that why you are here? Are you still fighting that war?" The screen changed again. Now it showed a picture of the world as Ju had seen in old books. The lands, the oceans, all laid out. Small lights appeared all over this map. One by one, the lights went out. Soon only one remained, blinking on and off in the place where Ju's village stood. "You were looking for something," Ju said. "Something that has been lost for a very long time." The wounded bird stirred in its pouch. It pushed its head out and made a loud chirp at the war machine. The sound seemed to confuse the giant. All of its eyes turned toward the small bird. The humming noise it made grew quieter. Ju had an idea. She reached into her bag and pulled out her grandmother's book of songs. "Can you understand this too?" she asked. "These are not signals like your machine language. These are songs. My people sing them to share feelings, to tell stories, to remember our past." The war machine did not move. All of its eyes remained fixed on Ju and the bird. Ju opened the book to a page she knew well. It was a song her grandmother had sung to her when she was afraid of the dark as a child. A song about finding light even in the deepest shadows. "Let me show you," Ju said. And in the middle of the forest, standing before the war machine that had destroyed her home with a wounded bird watching from its pouch, Ju began to sing. Ju's voice filled the forest clearing. The song started soft and uncertain, then grew stronger with each word. It was an old song, one that mothers in her village had sung to their children for many generations. The words spoke of finding home after being lost, of light returning after darkness, of hope when all seemed lost. The war machine stood completely still. Its many eye-like sensors focused on Ju as she sang. The blue light at its center pulsed steadily, matching the rhythm of her song. Ju closed her eyes as she reached the middle part of the song. In her mind, she saw her village as it had been before the destruction. She saw the gardens where food grew, the houses where families lived together, the central fire where stories were told each night. She put all these memories into her voice. Kyan. Wounded bird in the cloth pouch at her chest began to chirp along with her singing. Its small voice joined with Ju's larger one, creating a strange but beautiful harmony. For 5 minutes, Ju sang. When the last notes of the song faded away, the forest was completely quiet. Even the usual sounds of insects and birds had stopped. It was as if the whole world was waiting to see what would happen next. Slowly, Ju opened her eyes. The war machine had lowered itself closer to the ground. Its massive body now crouched at the edge of the clearing, bringing its central part down to Ju's level. The blue light at its core glowed softer now, more like the gentle light of dawn than the harsh brightness it had shown before. "Did you understand that?" Ju asked, her voice slightly rough from singing. The war machine made no sound, but on its large screen, new images appeared. Ju saw people from long ago, wearing strange clothes, singing together in large groups. She saw machines like this one standing with the people, not fighting them. "You remember," Ju whispered. "You remember a time when your kind and my kind lived together." The war machine's screen changed again. Now it showed the device in Ju's hand. Then it showed her brother Hyun's face. Ju gasped. "You know my brother?" "You have seen Hyun?" she asked, stepping closer to the war machine despite her fear. The images shifted. Ju saw a place she did not recognize. Large broken buildings made of stone and metal. And there was Hyun walking among the ruins, holding the same device that Ju now carried. "Where is this place? Where is my brother now?" Ju asked urgently. But the screen went dark. The war machine made a low sound that somehow seemed sad to Ju's ears. The bird chirped again, louder this time. It seemed to want to get out of its pouch. Carefully, Ju lifted the small creature and held it in her open hands. Its injured wing still bent at a wrong angle, but the bird seemed more active now. It turned its head to look directly at the war machine. "This is a living thing," Ju said, holding the bird a little higher. "It is hurt and needs help. It cannot fly or find food on its own. So I am helping it, even though we are different kinds of beings." The war machine extended one of its arms toward Ju and the bird. This arm was different from the others. It was smaller, with many jointed parts that moved with great care. At the end of it were tool-like fingers, each one smaller than the last. Ju's first instinct was to step back, to protect the bird from this strange reaching arm, but something told her to stay still, to trust that the war machine meant no harm. The arm stopped just in front of Ju. A soft blue light, the same color as the machine's core, shone from one finger-like tool. This light passed over the bird, from head to tail, lingering on the broken wing. After a moment, the war machine pulled its arm back. On its screen appeared clear images of the bird's wing. Ju could see the broken bone inside, shown in a way she had never seen before. Then words appeared on the screen. Words in Ju's own language. Damage detected, repair possible. Ju stared at the screen in shock. You can read and write our language? More words appeared. All human languages in database. Communication protocols activated. You can fix the bird's wing? Ju asked, focusing on the first message. Affirmative. A section on the side of the war machine slid open. Inside was a small space lit with the same blue light. The war machine extended its arm again, pointing from the bird to this open compartment. Ju understood what it wanted. Still, she hesitated. The bird was small and helpless. The war machine had destroyed her entire village. Could she really trust it? The bird made the choice for her. It hopped in Ju's hands, trying to move toward the open compartment despite its injury. It seemed to have no fear of the metal giant. All right, Ju said. But if you harm this bird, I will never help you find whatever it is you are looking for. She walked forward and gently placed the bird in the small compartment. As soon as she stepped back, the section closed. Ju's heart beat faster. Had she made a terrible mistake? On the screen, she could see inside the compartment. The bird sat calmly as thin beams of light passed over its wing. Small tools moved around it, touching the wing so gently that the bird did not even flinch. After what felt like a very long time but was probably only a minute, the compartment opened again. The bird hopped out onto the extended arm of the war machine. Its wing was straight. It flapped both wings experimentally, then, to Ju's amazement, the bird took flight. It flew in a circle above their heads, its movement strong and sure, before landing lightly on Ju's shoulder. You fixed it, Ju said, touching the bird's now perfect wing with one careful finger. Thank you. The war machine straightened slightly. New words appeared on its screen. Primary directive. Preserve and protect. If your job is to preserve and protect, then why did you destroy our village? Ju asked, her voice growing harder. Why did you make my people run in fear? The screen changed, showing a series of images. Machines like this one fighting other machines, then humans fighting the machines. Then a long period of darkness with just the machine alone searching. Long period of isolation. No contact with authorized personnel. Defense protocols active. All unidentified life forms classified as potential threats. Ju began to understand. You have been alone for a very long time. You did not know who to trust. You were looking for someone who could speak your language. Affirmative. And this device, Ju said, holding up her brother's device, it speaks your language. Device contains authorization codes, recognition protocols activated by proximity. So when I came near you with this device, you recognized it, Ju reasoned. But why did you destroy everything before checking if anyone had one of these devices? Scanning. Range limited. Destruction pattern designed to force authorized personnel to reveal location. Ju felt anger rise in her chest. You destroyed our homes to make us come to you. People could have died. The war machine was silent for a moment. Then new words appeared. Tactical error. Incomplete understanding of current human settlement patterns. Last data update. 278 years. Ago. 278 years? Ju repeated in disbelief. You have been alone for that long? Affirmative. Awaiting new directives. Ju took a deep breath. The bird on her shoulder chirped softly as if encouraging her. Your new directive is this, she said firmly. You will help rebuild what you destroyed. You will protect my people, not frighten them. And you will help us find my brother, if he still lives. The war machine's blue core pulsed brighter for a moment. Then words appeared on the screen once more. New directives accepted. Awaiting designation. Designation? Ju asked. Name. You want me to give you a name? Affirmative. Ju thought for a moment. This machine had destroyed her home, but it had also been alone for centuries, lost and without purpose. It had healed the bird when it could have crushed it. Perhaps, like the bird, it deserved a second chance. Juan, she said finally. Your name is Juan. In our language, it means the brilliant one, like your blue light. The war machine straightened to its full height. Its arms moved in a pattern that somehow looked pleased. On its screen appeared a single word. Acknowledged. The E-E-I bird chirped happily on Ju's shoulder. Ju reached up to stroke its smooth feathers, marveling at how perfectly its wing had been repaired. Now, Juan, she said, looking up at the massive machine, we need to go find my people and show them that you are no longer our enemy. That will not be easy. They are very afraid of you. Understood. We'll follow your lead. Ju nodded. Then let us go. The day is getting late and we have a long walk ahead of us. As she turned to leave the clearing, Ju realized that for the first time since the war machine had appeared, she was not afraid. The bird sang a happy song on her shoulder. The device in her pocket hummed with gentle energy. And behind her walked Juan, no longer a war machine but a guardian. Together they headed toward the mountain caves where her people waited. The journey to the mountain caves was not easy. Ju led the way through the forest with Juan following behind. The massive machine moved carefully to avoid crushing trees, but its heavy footsteps still shook the ground. The bird, now fully healed, flew ahead sometimes and then returned to Ju's shoulder like a scout. My people have gone to the caves on the north side of the mountain, Ju explained, pointing to the distant peaks. They are probably very hungry and afraid. They left with only what they could carry quickly. Juan's screen lit up with words, estimated. Time to reach caves. 3 hours at current pace. That is too slow, Ju said, looking at the sky. The sun will set soon. My people need food and warm shelter tonight. Juan was silent for a moment. Then its large body began to change shape. Parts moved and shifted, arms folded inward. Its middle section opened up, revealing a space inside just big enough for a person. Alternative transportation available. Ju stared at the open space uncertainly. You want me to ride inside you? Affirmative. Safety. Guaranteed. Travel time reduced to 20 minutes. The bird on Ju's shoulder chirped and flew directly into the open compartment. It landed inside and looked back at Ju as if telling her it was safe. Well, if the bird trusts you, Ju said with a small smile, then I will try. She climbed carefully into the space. It was surprisingly comfortable inside, with a seat that seemed to adjust to her body. The walls glowed with soft blue light. Ju could see outside through a clear panel at the front. As soon as she sat down, the opening closed. For a moment, Ju felt a flash of panic at being trapped inside the machine, but then she felt the bird land on her knee, its small presence reassuring. We are ready, she said. Immediately, Juan began to move. But instead of the heavy stomping steps from before, the machine now rolled forward smoothly and quickly. The Iquo forest passed by in a blur of green and brown. Ju had never moved so fast in her life. This is amazing, she exclaimed as they crossed in minutes a distance that would have taken her hours to walk. On a small screen inside the compartment, words appeared. This unit was designed for multiple functions. Combat mode activated upon awakening due to defensive protocols. Transport mode now engaged. You can do other things besides fighting? Ju asked. Affirmative. Primary functions include transportation, construction, medical assistance, information storage, environmental analysis. You can build things and heal people, not just birds? Affirmative. This unit was designed to assist human settlements in post-conflict reconstruction. Ju leaned back in the seat, letting this new information sink in. Juan was not just a weapon. It was a helper, a builder, a healer. This changed everything about how she would present the machine to her people. Juan, she said after a few minutes of thought, I need to know more about you. Where did you come from? Why were you in our valley? And how do you know my brother? The small screen filled with images. Ju saw a city unlike any she had ever imagined. Tall buildings made of glass and metal, reaching toward the sky. People and machines working together. Juan was there, but looking newer, its metal body shining. Then the images changed. Fire. Destruction. Other machines attacking. War occurred 312 years ago. Conflict between human factions. Machines were tools used by both sides. The images showed more fighting, cities falling, Juan and other machines like it defending some humans against others. Final directive from command: preserve remaining knowledge and technology, protect surviving humans, await further instructions. So you have been waiting for new instructions. For 300 years? Ju asked, feeling sadness for the lonely machine. Affirmative. This unit entered dormant state until energy signature detected 47 days ago. The screen now showed the device Ju carried. Then it showed Hyun again, walking through ruins holding the device. The device woke you up, Ju realized. And you found Hyun with it first. Human-designated Hyun located in ancient data center 200 kilometers east. Authorization codes verified. Information exchange occurred. Did you help my brother? Is he still there? Human Hyun requested information about pre-war technology. This unit provided data. Human Hyun departed with intent to return to home settlement with knowledge. But he never came home, Ju said quietly. Something must have happened to him on the journey back. The bird hopped closer on her knee and made a soft chirping sound, as if trying to comfort her. Tracking signal from communication device. Indicated movement toward your settlement. Then signal stopped. After 30 days of no movement, this unit began search pattern. That is why you came to our valley, Ju said. You were looking for the device for Hyun. Affirmative. And when you did not find him, you thought we might be hiding him or the device, so you destroyed our homes to make us come out. Tickle. Error. Apologies. The word apologies surprised Ju. It seemed so human. Can you help me find my brother? She asked. Probability of human Hyun. Survival unknown. Last known location can be identified after current mission complete. Current mission? Assist remaining humans from your settlement. Provide shelter, food, medical attention as needed. Ju nodded. Yes, that comes first. My people need help now. We can search for Hyun later. They were getting close to the mountain. Now. Juan slowed its pace as the ground became steeper and rocky. Soon, Ju could see the entrance to the largest cave, where smoke from a small fire drifted out. Stop here, she said. We should not approach too quickly. They will be afraid. If they see you. Juan came to a complete stop. The compartment opened, allowing Ju and the bird to exit. They were about 500 steps away from the cave entrance, hidden by a stand of trees. Recommended approach? I will go first and explain who you are, that you want to help, not hurt. When I call for you, come forward slowly, and maybe make yourself smaller if you can, less frightening. This unit can adjust configuration to appear less threatening. Good, Ju said. Wait for my signal. As Ju prepared to walk toward the cave, Juan's screen displayed one more message. Query. What changed your perception of this unit from threat to ally? Ju thought about the question. You could have crushed me at any time, but when you saw the bird was hurt, you helped it. Something that only wants to destroy would not care about a small injured bird. That showed me who you really are. Juan was silent, seeming to process this answer. And you listened to my song, Ju added. You tried to understand me, not just scan me for information. You showed me images of your past, your memories that made you more like a person to me, not just a machine. The blue light at Juan's center pulsed brighter for a moment. Understanding of human psychology. Updated. Gratitude expressed. The bird chirped and flew in a circle around Juan's top section, almost like it was playing with the machine. Then it returned to Ju's shoulder. Wait here, Ju said, stroking the bird's smooth feathers. I will call when it is time. Ju walked alone toward the cave entrance. Her heart beat fast in her chest. How would she explain to her frightened people that the thing that had destroyed their homes was now here to help them? Would they believe her? Would they trust Juan as she had learned to? As she got closer, she heard voices from inside the cave. Her people were arguing about what to do next, where to go, how to survive. She heard Elder Tay's voice trying to keep order, but there was fear in his words too. Ju took a deep breath and stepped into view at the cave entrance. For a moment, no one noticed her. Then a child pointed and cried out, Ju! Ju is alive, all, Faces turned toward her. There were cries of surprise and relief. People rushed forward to touch her to make sure she was real. "How did you escape the metal monster?" someone asked. "Are there others who survived?" asked another. Elder Tay pushed through the crowd, his old face lined with worry and relief. "Child, we thought you were lost. How did you find us?" Ju raised her hands to quiet everyone. The bird on her shoulder spread its wings, catching the fading sunlight. "I have much to tell you," she said, "about the machine that destroyed our village, about my brother Hyun, and about how things are going to change for all of us." She turned and looked back toward the trees where Hwan waited. "But first, I want you to meet someone." The people from the village stared at Ju in confusion. Elder Tay stepped forward, leaning on his walking stick. "Who do you want us to meet?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. "Is there another survivor?" Ju took a deep breath. This would not be easy. These people had run for their lives from Hwan. They had lost their homes, their gardens, their animals. Some had minor injuries from the escape. All were tired, hungry, and afraid. "What I am about to tell you will be hard to believe," Ju said. "But I ask you to listen with open minds and hearts." She pointed to the bird on her shoulder. "This bird had a broken wing when I found it in the ruins of our village. Now it can fly again. It was healed by the same machine that destroyed our homes." Whispers spread through the crowd. People looked at each other with doubt on their faces. "The machine is not just a weapon," Ju continued. "It is called Hwan. It was made long ago to help humans build and heal and learn. It was lost and alone for hundreds of years. It was looking for someone who could speak its language." "That thing nearly killed us all," a man shouted from the back of the crowd. "And you want us to believe it is friendly?" "I do not ask you to. Take my word alone," Ju said calmly. "I ask you to see for yourselves." She turned toward the trees and called out, "Hwan, you can come now. Remember, move slowly." The ground began to shake slightly. People gasped and moved back deeper into the cave. Some grabbed sticks or rocks ready to defend themselves. Elder Tay stood his ground beside Ju, though his hands shook. Hwan appeared from behind the trees. But the machine looked different now. It had made itself smaller, folding in its long arms and lowering its height. The blue light at its core glowed softly instead of brightly. It moved very slowly, taking small steps to avoid shaking the ground too much. "It changed its shape," a child said in wonder. Hwan stopped about 50 steps away from the cave entrance. Its screen lit up with large words in their language, big enough for everyone to read. "Greetings. This unit apologizes for previous actions. Here to assist." Elder Tay stared at the words, then at Ju. "It can write our language?" "It knows all human languages," Ju explained. "It helped heal this bird. It can build shelters, find food, and even help us find my brother Hyun." At the mention of Hyun's name, there was more surprised whispering. Everyone in the village knew Hyun had left years ago to explore the ruins of the old world. "Hyun found Hwan first," Ju told them. "He woke it from a long sleep. But something happened to Hyun on his way back to us. Hwan came looking for him and found us instead." Elder Tay took a few careful steps toward Hwan, studying the machine carefully. "If what you say is true, then this machine could help us survive the coming winter. We have lost our food stores, our homes, our tools. It can help with all of that," Ju said eagerly. "Hwan was made to rebuild after wars. It has knowledge from the old world that could make our lives better." The people began to talk among themselves. Some still looked afraid, but others seemed curious or hopeful. The children especially watched Hwan with wide eyes, pointing at its glowing blue core and strange shape. Hwan's screen changed to show new words. "Immediate needs assessment, shelter, food, medical attention, can provide all within 24 hours. How?" Elder Tay asked directly to the machine. "How would you build shelters for all of us so quickly?" In response, Hwan's body began to change again. Parts shifted and moved. Tools extended from its arms. The screen showed simple images of small houses being built, step by step. Temporary shelters first, using available materials. Permanent village reconstruction to follow. Elder Tay turned to the people. What do you think? Should we accept this? Machines help? What choice do we have? An older woman said. Winter comes soon. The children are hungry. We cannot stay in these caves. But how can we trust it? Someone else asked. It destroyed everything we had. Ju stepped forward again. I was afraid of Juan too. But then I saw how it helped this bird. She gestured to the bird on her shoulder. And I learned why it came to our valley. It was searching for someone who could understand it after being alone for centuries. She walked up to Juan and placed her hand on its metal surface. I trust Juan now, and I ask you to trust me. The bird chose that moment to fly from Ju's shoulder. It circled above everyone's heads, then landed on top of Juan. From there, it sang a beautiful song. The people watched in amazement as the small creature perched fearlessly on the machine that had seemed so dangerous before. Elder Tay nodded slowly. Very well. We will accept your help, machine. Juan. But we will be watching carefully. 3 days later, the valley looked very different now. Where there had once been only ruins, temporary shelters now stood in neat rows. They were simple but strong, made from wood and other materials that Juan had helped gather and shape. Each family had their own space, with a small stove for cooking and warmth. Juan had also created a larger building in the center of the new settlement. Inside were stored food that the machine had helped find and preserve, tools it had made, and medicines it had created from plants in the forest. There was even a map showing where more resources could be found. Ju stood on a small hill, watching the people work together with Juan to build a water system that would bring clean water from the mountain stream directly to the village. The fear was gone now. Children ran alongside the machine asking questions that appeared on its screen. Some of the village elders sat with Juan in the evenings, learning about farming techniques from the old world that could help their crops grow better. Elder Tai walked up to stand beside Ju. The bird, which had become her constant companion, flew over to perch on his shoulder for a moment. You were right about the machine, he said, watching as Juan carefully lifted a heavy pipe into place. It wants to help us. Juan was made to work with humans, not against them, Ju replied. It just needed someone to remind it of that purpose. And now it has taught us so much, Elder Tay said. Things Hyun went searching for in the ruins Juan has shared freely. Our lives will be better than before. Ju nodded, but her eyes drifted to the eastern horizon. I still worry about my brother. Juan says the device stopped sending signals, somewhere between the ruins and our valley. Something must have happened to Hyun. When the new village is finished, perhaps you and Juan can go search for him, Elder Tay suggested. The machine moves faster than any human could walk, and it knows where to look. Yes, Ju said. That is what I plan to do. Juan has promised to help me. As if hearing its name, Juan looked up from its work. Its blue core glowed brightly for a moment like a greeting. Ju waved back. That evening, as the sun set over the new village, Ju sat on a log outside her shelter. She held her grandmother's songbook open on her lap. The bird perched beside her and Juan sat nearby, its large form somehow fitting in perfectly with the scene. Would you like to hear another song? Ju asked. Affirmative. Song database expanding. Learning human cultural expressions. Ju began to sing a song about journeys and homecomings, about finding friends in unexpected places. The bird joined in with its chirping, and after a moment, Juan added soft humming tones that matched the melody perfectly. People stopped their evening tasks to listen. Some smiled. Some closed their eyes to enjoy the music better. A few began to sing along, adding their voices to the growing harmony. In that moment, Ju knew that something important had changed, not just for her village, but perhaps for all humans who remained in this world. The old knowledge was not lost. The machines of the past were not all enemies. There was hope for a better future, and it had all started with a song and a wounded bird. When the song ended, Juan's screen displayed a simple message. Thank you for teaching this unit to hear the music. Ju smiled. And thank you, Juan, for reminding us that sometimes what we fear most is simply something we do not yet understand. The bird chirped in agreement and flew up to perch on Juan's top section as the first stars appeared in the evening sky.